Hi, my name is Denise Avila, and I'm conducting interviews for a class. But I hope that sharing the results with your school will improve parent, community, and school relations. Just so you know, we'll not use your name, and I will not share any information that could identify you at all. So we do have a couple like pre-questions that I'd like to ask you. One is, what do school stakeholders, including parents and school personnel, think about the school's connection to families in the community?
I think at the school that my child attends, that there is not a lot of family connections, that they only have a couple events a year, like a literacy night and a math night, but pretty much that's the extent of the parent community involvement.
Right. And so, what do stakeholders think is hindering this connection?
I think there's a language barrier. The school is probably over 80% Hispanic, where most of the parents do not speak English.
Okay. And then, what do stakeholders think is promoting this connection? Is there anything, if there is anything, promoting the connection with the parents?
I don't think there's anything connecting the parents with the stakeholders. They're only doing the required district events that the teachers are mandated to do. So there isn't a whole lot of connection between the families and the stakeholders and the parents.
All right. So what ideas do stakeholders have to improve the schools connecting to families in the community? If you've heard of any.
Yeah, I've just heard of the plans that they try to make, and sometimes they send letters home where you get a call message about activities coming up over the phone system that they have, but it's far and few between, so there's really not a whole lot of effort going on there.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a little bit more information about just specifically your child and your communication with your school. So tell me about the school that your child attends.
My child attends a middle school that's grades 6 through 8. It is a turnaround school.
And explain to me what a turnaround school might be.
It's a school that's fed by several other so-called turnaround elementary schools where kids are below their level of ability to their age group in learning.
So is it like a state kind of intervention school or more district intervention?
I think it is a district intervention.
So it's before kind of the state comes in and would take over in that regard.
I think the district comes in, but they have to abide by the state guidelines when trying different programs to help turn around the school.
Okay. And how many students do you think attend your child's school?
I would say anywhere from 1,600 to 1,800 is my estimate.
Okay. And what's the demographics like? I know you talked earlier about...
I would say...
80% Hispanic.
Yeah, I think it's about 80% Hispanic. A small portion of Caucasian, small portion of African American, and a few Asian.
Okay. And then... is there a lot of parent involvement in your school at this time?
No, they do not encourage parent involvement.
Why do you think that they don't encourage parent involvement at all?
That's a good question. I'm not sure why they don't include parent involvement. Maybe they just don't want to make the efforts. Like I said, they only do the required district events during the year. They have the PAC, Parent Advisory Committee, once a month, but very few parents show, and I think that's because of the language barrier.
Right, okay. Do you receive information on what you can do at home to help your child improve or advance his or her learning?
No, absolutely not.
Nothing else? There's no information that comes from even individual teachers or?
No, I would say no, that is not something that's done at all. The parent, if actively involved, like myself, would check Infinite Campus, but I would say most parents do not have parent-teacher connection, and the teachers do not communicate what they're wanting from the kids clearly, and there's a lot of confusion going on.
Okay. And the Infinite Campus is a parent-teacher student portal that it shows attendance and grades, and I think there are messages that teachers can leave through there.
Yes, there are messages teachers can leave through there, but they do not at this particular school. They might just put a notation on the grade if it was maybe late, or a comment regarding what the assignment is.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say strongly that communication is a huge issue in this particular school.
Okay. Is your child's, we've kind of already touched on this a little bit, but staying in touch with you, even like as letters or phone calls or emails, how frequently are those things sent home? Just with progress reports and report cards, or is there like a monthly thing that goes out, or even like a school newsletter, anything like that?
I would say the only communication would be the occasional phone calls, the progress reports, and just the parent keeping up on Infinite Campus. I would say there is really not much per se to see how your child's doing if you are not checking out the portal for the district.
So pretty much it goes for many of the students, it goes unchecked.
Yes, I would say it goes definitely unchecked.
Right. So I'm going to talk a little louder because we have some interference. Do you understand everything that comes home to you? That if it does come home, does it come home with the communication that comes home? Do you understand everything that comes home? With that, does everything come home in different languages and just in English, or how does that work?
The communication, if and when it comes home, which is very rare, would be Spanish and English.
Okay. But like if there are other languages that are spoken there, it doesn't come home in those languages that you know of?
No, it does not. It seems to be very focused in the district on Spanish or English, and eliminates the other languages in the district, in my opinion.
Right. So if you have a question or concern or a comment about your child for the teacher or the principal or guidance counselor, how do you reach them?
I would send an email through Infinite Campus. You can email through the campus portal. The teachers at this particular school are not very good at communicating back. That a lot of emails go unanswered.
Okay. So they don't.
You can set up a parent conference with all the teachers, though, if you wish.
And do you do that through the guidance counselor?
Yes, through the guidance counselor.
Okay. All right. And then, are you invited to meetings so that you can learn about what is going on in the school, such as issues or policies?
The only thing that they invite the parents to is the PAC meeting, the Parent Advisory Committee meeting, once a month. That's the only thing.
And so that's the Parent Advisory Committee. And are those people set in place already, or is it open to every parent every month? Or
we get a phone call notifying us of the event through the phone system they have, saying what time it'll be, what day of the week it'll be. It's usually like a Tuesday morning, and they'll tell you what the agenda is, and it'll last probably maybe a half hour, but very few parents go.
Okay. And what kind of different ways can you be involved with the school, or are you involved with the school, either at the school itself or at home or in the community?
I've tried to be involved in a lot of the activities, but once the kids seem to get to the middle school or the high school, the administration seems to push away from those and wanting the kids to be more independent without the parent link, so to speak. So I think once kids get to middle school, a lot of that connection with the kids in the schools are lost due to the school's policies.
Right. And do you have any ideas about how you might get involved, or that maybe that would change with the school?
I think it has to do with the administration and their choices, and if they don't want it, they don't want it. And it should be more of a factor. Parents should be asked to maybe chaperone dances or volunteer to set up things or do the different activities at the school. But they are not. They really try to keep the parent atmosphere out of the schools once they hit middle school.
Yeah, it's more of like that they're trying to kind of advocate for that independency, and even once it gets to high school, it seems like it gets a little even more
Yeah, less,
less parent involvement, except for maybe boosters and things like that.
Yeah, very less as they go older and get up. They want the parent to sort of cut the tie, so to speak.
Yeah. Do you volunteer at all at your school right now, or any kind of training or resources that are provided at the school for you to volunteer?
They don't provide that opportunity.
They don't. Do they allow parents to come in and volunteer at all?
Nope, they do not allow any parents to come and volunteer to help the teachers. They have student aides for those helping the teacher. They don't want the parents on the campus.
Is that known, or is that more of something that is kind of like just an atmosphere that they've put out there?
I'm not sure at other schools, but I know at our particular school, that's the atmosphere that is portrayed.
Do you feel like it's more of a security issue, or do you feel like it's more of just the school not wanting parents to be involved?
I think it's more of the administrators not wanting to have the parents involved and not wanting to have to deal with it. They just want to keep it between the teachers and the kids and the administration and do what they got to do. And it's sad because the family bond, when the kids need you most at that age as they're going through their changes, is being broken apart because the schools are separating the parents from the school and the volunteering.
Right. So as a parent of one of these students, how do you feel about your child, just kind of being tossed out there amongst the learning environment, and you're not really feeling like there's a support system going on there between the parent and school?
It's hard. It's very emotional, especially as a mother, to have that. You worry about your children when they're at school, so you can only do the best you can and ask them about their day and check on them, check on their things, ask them what they're learning. But it's just really become quite a sad thing that, that you just kind of throwing your kids out to the wolves, so to speak, because there's not that support anymore for the family unit.
Right. Have you, in your experience at this school, have you ever had any good communications with teachers or administration?
At the open houses, they do have an open house in the beginning of the year, and I do attend those whenever they have something and try to get to talk with the teachers, but it's hard because you have 30 other parents, or of the ones who show, maybe half show, trying to do the same thing, so
Right.
You really don't get that connection with the teacher.
And it's a short period of time usually that the school offers for that open house.
Yeah, you only get like 10 minutes per classroom.
Right.
So you
How many periods of day does your student go to classes? How's the schedule set up?
It's a very poor schedule. It's a rotating schedule following by a high school model, I believe, where every day they have a different first period. And it's very confusing to the kids, especially the kids that are limited English, non-English, or special ed, because they have to remember that they have a different first period every day. And it rotates. I would imagine it would be hard on the teachers, too, because you would have to see where your class left off and what class is coming to you now.
Mm-hmm.
And some kids, like my child did once, went to the wrong lunchtime and got marked tardy because the schedule was so confusing that they have 2 different lunch periods that rotate throughout the week. They're not consistent.
Yeah. So is it kind of like is it a block schedule, or is it still just regular class periods of 50 minutes?
Yeah, it's still regular periods. I don't know how long they are, 50, 55 for 6 periods a day.
Okay.
And they call it a block schedule.
Okay.
So they go like block 1 through 6 one day, and then the next day is block 2 through 6, ending with 1, and etc. And it's very confusing for the kids.
I think that would be confusing for me as a teacher as
It
well.
is very confusing.
Like, who am I getting today?
yeah, and where you left off, and it's very confusing for the kids. And you'll see the kids who are not as accelerated or advanced roaming, lost and confused sometimes, and sitting in the wrong lunch period, and I'm at the wrong one,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so what grade is your student in right now?
My student is an 8th grader now.
8th grader. So this will be your child.
Yeah.
So this will be his last year at this school.
Yes.
And then he will progress to a high school. And are you excited about him going into the high school atmosphere? Is there a specific high school you're looking forward to him going to?
Yeah.
Is he going to go to the feeder school, or is he in the feeder school that's going to go into the high school that accepts the middle school?
He's not going to go to his feeder school. Does not want to go to his feeder school. Is in a very bad demographics. He's going to go to a career high school where his sibling attends and offers career opportunities in fields they might be interested in later in life.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate all of your information that you've given me, and I hope that maybe I could share this a little bit without giving anything away with our school and our community, and hopefully we can maybe get some more parental involvement. It is difficult at the secondary level that to get parents involved, but we're always, as an educator, we're always looking for ideas and to get the community plus parents involved. And sometimes it's a difficult task, and sometimes it just means opening the door to parents. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate it. And have a good evening.
You're welcome.